Kim Brennan, 6 Stone Ridge Court, Rockaway Township, New Jersey. I moved into Stone Ridge Court in July of 2007. Southern Salvage has expanded their operation in a multitude of ways without obtaining permits or township approval. It's clear, if you look at the 1985 resolution, that the township expected that Southern Salvage would obtain required permits before starting any work that would expand the non-conforming use of this business. This didn't happen, and that's why we're here. Southern Salvage has ignored the township rules. They've taken advantage of the zoning board, the citizens, the town, and that has a negative impact on the peace and tranquility of my neighborhood. By scaling measurements from the 2012 major site plan, if you look at picture number 2, which I think everybody has, you can look at that weigh station, and you can determine it's 180 feet long by 10 to 12 feet wide. It's hard to believe that a structure of this size is almost 2/3 the length of a football field. It was added to the site without any type of permit. I don't understand why it took 5 years for the township to finally write this memorandum that David Novak wrote. And we recognize it's a legal expansion of a non-conforming use. The rules are, you apply for a variance, you get a permit if you're approved. So why does the township continue to let this company use this weigh station when there has been no variance approved? Either something happens in town that year, was there someone on vacation all year that didn't look at this? And why are we still talking about this years later? So you can also look at this 2012 major site plan. There's a note on there that says material currently stored in this area is to be removed. Look at picture 4. It hasn't been removed. Look at picture 3. There's transit trains there. That's despicable. I want to understand why the township is allowing this. There's also some 25-foot setback lines in that site plan. Why are we allowing them to continue to use this area for this business? There's metal containers on the property line, there's scrap next to the containers, and this residential property that borders the site is in disarray because of this. The metal containers exceed the 12-foot height limit as well. Finally included in his memorandum is this statement: the moving of the 1985 approved tree line with the utilization of the cleared space for the storage of material represents an expansion of non-conforming use. Look at picture 4 over there. Why, again, are we allowing them to continue to utilize the site for the storage of scrap here? I don't get it. Are they authorized to go beyond the law here? What message are we sending when we allow them to continue illegal operations before variances are granted? This isn't the way things are supposed to happen. I guarantee if I put a 2-story building on my site tomorrow and manufactured Christmas sweaters and was putting materials in from China, someone would be knocking on my door. Just like they knocked on my door when I had a bobcat on the lawn putting my pool in this summer. But guess what? I had all the approvals. They still knocked on my door. Why aren't you knocking on their door? I don't get it. There's laws for a reason here. Testimonies during this hearing have shown that over the past 30 years, Southern Salvage has not followed through on commitments made to the board. They were the basis for the 1985 resolution. Compare the present operation to the operation that existed in 1985. It's despicable. There's major changes there. They've expanded beyond their means. It's a substantial detriment to the public good. The intent and the purposes of the zoning ordinances have been impaired. The purpose for having zoning ordinances is to protect the homeowners, the citizens. That means the township must encourage the actions to guide the appropriate user development of all lands in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Another important aspect is that the zoning department must attempt to conserve the value of the property. It's clear that our property values have gone down, and you can see that if you look at statements made by the tax assessor and you look at the actual comps in the area. I want to remind the board that the applicant, not the neighbors, have to prove their case for this requested variance. Based on what you heard today from so many neighbors here, it's obvious that David Zimmerman reached many conclusions that are not true. Southern Salvage disregarded the 85 resolution. That should concern the board, and it should concern any action you're going to take in this matter. By this evidence, I'm hoping you'll conclude that Southern Salvage has not proven their case for any variance request. As a resident impacted by this expansion of the non-conforming use, I submit to you that everything be denied here, all variances, and the operations cease until they provide evidence they've converted the operation back to the operation that existed in 1985. Now lastly, I'm not going to go into the noise because I think we've beat it to death, but the truck traffic is despicable. My kids go on that road for a bus. I went to the Board of Ed. It took 2 years for them to move a bus stop down to the cul-de-sacs on Iverson and Stone Ridge Court. Now, you and I both know they did that because they were concerned. What's it gonna take for those trucks to hit someone? I witnessed 2 Southern Salvage truck accidents this summer, July and August. And you know what? It could be a kid. It could be an adult. It could be a dog walker. That road does not support that type of truck traffic. There are times when a business outgrows a site. And I think at this point, this business has outgrown this residential site, this residential road. And I also want to add, I'm a commercial real estate broker by trade in New York and New Jersey, and I know industrial real estate. This site is not equipped for this type of traffic and this type of load on the site. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
For you, ma'am. Unless I misheard you, beginning of your remarks, you mentioned that I believe the applicant was taking advantage of the board.
Yeah.
And I just want some clarification
Sure.
as to what you mean by, because I assume you're talking
Okay,
about.
so here's
yeah,
what I
hold
mean.
on. I assume you're talking about this board.
Well, the board that existed in 1985, up
Oh,
until
you're
now.
not talking about this board?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
Just
what,
one
I wanna know what
clarification.
happened in 1985, when this applicant applied, put together this plan, nothing got approved, and he went ahead and did it. What was the town looking at? Who was in charge then? How come this was happening?
Well, you
And how
realize-
come now, years
you-
later,
you
we're back?
realize that the Board of Adjustment does not have enforcement power.
Oh, I know, but I'm just making a point. It's like peeling back an
Just
onion.
clarification.
There were a lot of things that went wrong, and now we seem to be peeling layer after layer back and seeing all these wrong things that have done. All we're asking you is to correct it. You would do the same for a residential citizen. I don't understand why they are beyond the law and they're still operating and none of this has been corrected yet. And that's why we're here. It's been a two and a half year process. It's brutal for us too. None of us want to be here. I didn't even go home yet.
It's 3 years.
3 years.
Any other questions for me? No? Okay, thank you.
Let's see how many